Alright, I thought I would, in this video, go through some of the little electronic projects that I've done fairly recently. Starting with the most recent, this Christmas tree. What that is, it's a light string from the dollar store on a tree I made from popsicle sticks and dowels. Yes. I saw a full-sized one on somebody's yard decoration when they put Christmas lights on it, so I thought I would do the same in miniature. This is pretty small, as you can see. It fits on my workbench. What I did with this light string, in the battery box, I gutted the box out and put one of these voltage regulators in here. This particular one is what's called a buck converter. It takes 5 volts in and puts 3 volts out because, well, 2 AA batteries would have been 3 volts. So I stuck a boost converter. I bought a bunch of these little converters quite a while ago. Some were boost, some were buck, where you take a higher voltage and make it lower, and some were variable. I got a sample of all of them here to show. This particular one is, in time for Christmas. Let's see if I can get some juice flowing through this one. If I've got a working battery pack. Let's give it a whirl. There you see, now it's running off of a 5-volt power bank battery charger. Just a little decoration. Bright as heck. Makes a good little night light, light up the dark living room. And so that it wasn't going through batteries, I could leave it plugged in. I plugged it into one of those little wall warts. Those little cubes that you plug in for your cell phone. So there's that little project there. That was my most recent one. I still got a couple of these little voltage regulators left, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but let's set that aside here. And what do we got here? Here's one I never showed before. This is my monitor cooling fan. On my computer I use a Sony PlayStation 3D TV as a monitor. And that sucker gets pretty toasty. It had the failed EEPROM problem, which those monitors were known for. Did a YouTube video on replacing that. Changed that 3 or 4 years ago now, and it's no problem since. But I was finding it was getting mighty warm, so I took another one of these little voltage regulators. This is a boost, because it's taking 5 volts and making it 12, because computer fans are 12 volts. DC 12 volts. So I had this USB cable. It gets its power from the monitor itself, so the fan only runs when the monitor is on. I'll give it some juice here. Oh yeah, look at that. And it lights up, obnoxious blue light. But as you can see, 5-volt battery pack running a 12-volt fan. It's a handy little thing. Now, it doesn't make the computer ice cold or the monitor ice cold, but it does reduce the heat considerably. And there's that one. Moving right along. Here we go, this one here. I have several of these. These are variable with a display. You can see the input voltage, the output voltage, and you can adjust the voltage. There's adjustment there through that little hole. But I made two of these to serve as power supplies for underlighting on computer desks. So because they'd be visible, I put them inside, a pseudo case here. And once again, they take a 5-volt input. And I built these because I used automotive LEDs as underlighting on computer desks. So 5 volts from well, that's right. That's what computers give you. It's 5 volts. You can see that flickering there. That's that's what LEDs do under fluorescent lights. So 4.7, 4.8 volts in and 12 volts out. I've since changed the underlighting on my desk, so I don't use this one anymore. Oh, but I'll find another use for it somewhere. Pretty handy little thing. I just got creative and made a pseudo case for it. Just because I figured if it's going to be where it can be seen, it might as well be something worth looking at. So I made a video on that one. And I made 2 of them. So the other one is still in use as a power supply for 12 volt under desk lighting. What else do we have here? Picked up a bunch of these project boxes ages ago. I've used 3 of them and I have 2 of them left. This particular thing, all this is, can't get it open. There we go. It's a pre-made amplifier. And all I did was put it in a box. Power. This is the output. And then the input goes in here. And it's a pre-made thing. Doesn't blast the tunes out, but it's good for making quiet things a little bit louder. And that, like I said, all I did was put that in a project box. Pretty straightforward, that one. What else did I do here? I made this, did a video on this too. This is a fume extractor for when I'm soldering. There's a filter inside there. Basically what it does is it sucks up the smoke when you're soldering, because that stuff isn't good for you. Again, it's got a voltage regulator in there because I wanted it to be powered from 5 volts, and it's a 12 volt fan. Oh, you can hear it. There's a light there, power light, 12 volts, tells you that it's on and running. And that's all that does. It's got a tripod mount, so you can put the mount right above where you're soldering. And it's just in a box you get from the home store. Just a small little project. Every now and then I get bored and I want to make something, so what else do I have here? This is a contentious little thing here. This I had a little die, I didn't know what to do with, so I stuck it on the end of the switch there. This is a switch box, a double throw switch, off in the middle, on both ends. And what I did, this works 2 ways. It can be 2 in and 1 out. I built it because I had two computers and one headphone, so each computer plugged into there, and then I could select which computer I was listening to with that. And that was working fine until I changed my audio setup on my computer. But now this little box creates a ground loop buzz, so I have to find some plans to see if I can make a ground loop isolator so I can get rid of the buzz. The switch I used is only 2-pole, and I really needed to use a 3-pole to isolate the grounds, because right now the grounds for all three of these are tied together, so that's why I'm getting the buzz. So I either change the switch, but it's hard to come by. This switch was hard to find. Double pole, double throw. So I need to find a 3-pole 2-throw switch, or find a plan to build a ground loop isolator so I can separate these grounds from each other. If not, well, then I'll just use the components for another project. This one pretty much served its purpose. I did use it for a couple of years, so I got, some use out of it. And then there's this project. This is probably the biggest one. This is a boom mic. Can't even see it all. But I had a broken gaming headset. Well, the microphones on gaming headsets are pretty darn good quality. In fact, the audio that you're listening to right now is being recorded on a gaming headset microphone. I had an old Turtle Beach pair here. Removed all the headphone stuff, the hearing stuff, and just went with the microphone. That's all that's left is the pink microphone input. This plugs into my voice recorder, which I'm using right now for this audio. Kind of hard to use it and talk on the same time because it's kind of squeaky and very sensitive. But there too, took a battery bank, power bank here from the Buck store, mounted it on there as battery backup for this voice recorder that I'm using right now. Backup power for that when the batteries go south. And in here, I glued it down so it doesn't go flying everywhere. And there's another one of those buck converters. Takes a 9-volt battery. Makes 5-volt power for the headphone, for the microphone. Switch on there with an LED. Lets me know. Reminds me that it's on. Did a video on this one, I think I did. The handy thing here is because it puts out 5 volts, you can take pretty well dead 9 volts and use them until they put out less than 5 volts, obviously. Or little batteries like this. This is a 12-volt battery from my multimeter. Well, it's right now putting out like 9.6 volts. So as a 12-volt battery, it's dead. But in a setup like this, you can run it until it puts out less than 5 volts, and then put it in the Christmas tree light there and run it until it's down to 3 volts. And by that point, then it's pretty well depleted. So that's what this box is all about. And it's, the boom is up and down. And it has good audio. It's more for when I'm just sitting down doing up close things. That's probably my biggest project to date. Again, it uses one of those project boxes. And here is probably the most recent one. This is a bench top power supply. A lot of people convert old computer power supplies into benchtop supplies, but I ain't got the room for that. So I took an old power brick from a computer, 19 volts, 4.6 amps or something, which is more than enough for what I use it for. And again, use one of these project boxes. And the inside, oh yeah, now you won't open, is another one of those variable voltage regulators. So it takes the 19 volts from the computer in here and puts out whatever I tell it to. And this particular point in time, I think it's putting out 3 volts. You can tie into the binding posts there, or you can plug something in here. You know, it's just an old computer power supply, power brick. Rubber feet on there so it doesn't take flight. And you can't really, I guess you can see it. There's the power cord in for it. Put an inline on-off switch so it's not always on. And it serves its purpose. For what I need, you know, a power supply for. See, the light's up there. And the light goes out when you turn it off. And the note is there for myself because, you know, you don't want to be plugging a 3 volt thing into something that's set up for 5, so I don't want to release the magic blue smoke. So there you have it. Oop, I knocked my camera. There you have it. Just some of my little projects I've done, at least electronics wise. I do have one more, and basically all I did was I took an old Bluetooth speaker that, you know, came free in a case of beer and stuffed it in a wooden birdhouse. I would go get it, but it's over there and I'm over here. Hang on a second, let me go get it. Alright, and here we have the Bluetooth birdhouse. I took a Bluetooth speakers, actually headphones, cheapy headphones from, you know, they come free in the beer cases. Headphones were ugly, but they had pretty good sound, so I took the guts out of that and stuffed them into this wooden birdhouse thing you get from the buck store. Came pre-decorated. Xander, whoever Xander was, decorated it. I found it out by the recycle bins. It had been there for a couple of days. It was kind of wet and pretty heavy. So all the decoration, Xander did. I didn't do anything. All I did was I pulled the top off here and worked in the headphone Bluetooth piece in there. Charging port and the power switch is down in there somewhere as well. It's good for making background music, you know, without having an obvious speaker somewhere. It's a little more decorative. But I saw this sitting outside and I thought, I know what I can do with that. And this is what I did. Just glued the top back on there when I was done. Sounds pretty good. What do they call that? Discreet. That's the word I was looking for. A discreet speaker. So there you have it. Bunch of little projects that I've done to keep myself busy and out of trouble. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to start making videos of things again, but we'll get there eventually. But for now, thanks for watching.